Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about bishop endgames. Now these are some of the more complicated endgames to win. King and pawn endgames, they are winning or they are a draw. That is it. They are winning or they are a draw. Queen endgames are a lot more tricky because if the kings are exposed, there's always perpetual checks. But generally speaking, queen versus pawn is winning, depending on how far the pawn is there. And then we've got rook endgames. You know about Lucina position and Philidor position, and they can be drawn, but they can also be winning, depending on the situation. Bishop endgames, and what we'll cover soon as well, knight endgames, are really, really tricky because they can be messed up so easily. Like in this position, white is winning. But if you mess this up, because it's minor pieces that you are left with, if you accidentally lose your pawns, you need to promote a pawn in this case. You can't just settle for trading the pawn for the bishop because you can't checkmate with just a bishop or just a knight. So in this position, we're going to go through 5 positions and we're going to do it as quickly as we can. It's all about winning bishop endgames. And just so you believe me, we are playing against the engine. If I slide it down, maximum 3200. We're playing this, so it has to be perfect. So we're going to do our best. In here, what we're looking to do is trade off the bishop and promote the pawn. So we're going to start 3, 2, 1. We're doing this all on chess.com. We're going to go here because we want to trade the bishops. Because if we take, we come out here, and now we get here, and we promote the pawn. And we queen, and then from here, this is something you should know. We just, bring the king closer, keep cutting the king off. Just keep following him all the way down the board till we can cut him on one of the end ranks. And now we checkmate. And that is easy. This is a position that's a lot more difficult because it's same color bishops, right? Same color bishops. And now we're thinking about where are the weaknesses. So it would be tempting to put everything on dark squares, 100%. Very, very tempting. But you don't want your bishop to be blocked out and your bishop can't defend the stuff. So this is tricky. Now, what could we do that is winning? Trade the bishops in this particular case. Why? Well, simply because this trade would be winning for us. Now, the engine doesn't want to do this, and trading like this might not be so good for us. So we need to find a move that's in between. So maybe we go for this. Now the king comes forward. Can we push? I feel like we can. Okay, they push. I'm just going to go here. And lock everything down. Now that is a weakness. He takes. We take with the king, I think. Takes. And now I think we just win. We go here. And we take. And now he's looking to push, but we don't have to do anything. We can just come back. And he locks everything, and now we push the pawn through. And we don't let the king in, and we just go here. And he can't get across. And we're just going to promote with check. And we'll just step out the way, so that we can bring the queen in, and she can pick up a couple of pawns, or we can bring... Gotta be careful we don't stalemate. The king can still go there. This is check. We're now picking up a couple of pawns. Let's pick this up with check. Pick this up with check. Bring the king, queen here, so the king can go there, and now we mate him. Probably had the mate earlier. Now we're in same color bishop endgames again. Opposite color bishop endgames are generally a draw. So we've got this lovely structure. Now you'd be very tempted to push this pawn, and that is probably the best move. Takes, and now what's important is we take, and we win this. And that is how we're going to win this game. We can just come forward, bring this pawn, and you can see they're looking to defend, so we're just going to do the same thing we did in the previous game, which is trade. He doesn't want to trade, and we go here. And now we can queen. Okay. We'll just bring the queen back, guard this pawn for the moment. Just looking for a nice clean way to win. Can put pressure on this pawn. Give a check. I did not drop that pawn, which is not what I wanted to do. Check. King stays out the way. Okay, maybe we need to bring our king a bit closer. Yeah, now we're just going to win this. Takes, and now we've simplified everything. So very calm there. We can go right back to the beginning. I think it's very instructive, this pawn break. Why? Because we're undermining the base of the pawn structure. and this bishop can't get to defend it, and you ideally want to defend it with the bishop and not the king. King is stuck because if he goes here, we take anyway, probably. I mean, maybe this move would have been better. Taking we know is bad because take and you lose everything. But here, maybe you don't want to do this because now I can like outflank you and come back this way. So very instructive, and now we can go all the way. Here we've traded everything. We're in a queen and king endgame. We've seen this already. You just have to get really good at this. We'll give it a check. Let's not hang the queen. King comes forward, and we'll just keep marching him down. There we are, and now he's forced, and now we win. Same color bishop endgame. This is the third example. It is white to play. Now again, it's very tempting to trade bishops here, and that's I think what I'm going to do. Because now I get to push this, and now he takes, and now we're buggered. Why? Because he's going to win that pawn. And it's a draw. So we lose. Tough one. Game drawn by insufficient material, so we have to try again. And it's going to take us through all 3 drills. Unbelievable. Okay, we're just going to speedrun this because I messed up that one drill, which is annoying, but it happens. Alright, there we are. Now we have this drill. Oh, you see, it's not exactly the same. So this one might be a bit more interesting because we might like try to go here. And just try to win this pawn. Okay, but the kings come in now. Oh, this is tricky. I like taking this. Oh, we're going to lose a lot of stuff. And now we're going to get into a pawn race. Okay, you see. So now we've got to be very careful about how we do this. And now look at that move. That move is beautiful because it's cutting everything. And if we go here, he goes here and he freezes everything on light squares. So it might be beneficial to bring the king closer. Okay, now targeting the pawn. How comfortable am I giving that away? Probably not very. But let's just see it. So we go here. Takes. Yeah, I'm probably cooked. I might lose this. Yeah, cooked. Yeah, so we can quit. You can see, endgames are difficult with the bishops. They're really hard to evaluate. It's a tough one. We're going to try it again. Takes us right back to the beginning. But you can see that they're changing the positions. So this, we push, and now we get the bishop here, get it here, and promote. This one is the easiest one because you're already covering the promotion square. There it is. Okay, here we're in a very similar position to the one we were in the last game. I think trading bishops would be good for us. We will just be patient. Oh, you see, now they're looking to freeze the structure here. So perhaps what we're going to do is we're going to push, put it on a light square, offer a trade, and we say no. Take. Why? Because we don't want the king to get there. But he might walk this way, which could be problematic. So let's push here. Okay, I think what I can do is I can take, and I might be fast enough. Okay, this is where you need to calculate correctly. We might have already messed this up. We are playing the engine, so you will hopefully give me some slack. But this is where you're looking about the trade of bishops. So I'm thinking take. Sorry, take. King here. Takes. Steps out the way, and then up. It's a pawn race. Okay, we want to get off the main diagonal. And we queen. And they queen. So now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here to defend this. And he looks to defend that. So I'm just going to step out the way. Takes the pawn. Now we might be cooked again. Queen. Check. Step out the way. And this is a draw. He doesn't want to draw it. I don't get what the point of harassing me with all the checks is. There it is. And it's a draw. So this is why bishop endgames are notoriously difficult. And I know this video seems like I've just been doing bishop endgame drills, and I do apologize for that. So if you haven't learned anything, I severely apologize. But the main things that you will need to know from bishop endgames are the color complexes. So there's two types. There's the same color bishop endgames, which is what we've been playing. And they are notoriously very difficult to win and to draw. They are very difficult. They require very good calculation. You can see, I think I lost one game. I drew several, and I won a couple. Against, the strongest the engine can be, 3200. So you can see that some of them are absolutely winning. You just need the right technique. So the first one, where we're promoting the pawn and we're controlling the promotion square, and we're just getting the bishop off the diagonal, perfectly winning. Easy enough to do. Once there's more pawns, it becomes extremely complicated. Extremely complicated. There is only one thing you need to know, and we'll pull up an analysis board for that. Hopefully it doesn't break the screen too much. It doesn't. Fantastic. So if we start loading a position, if we set up a position, just looking how to do that. Okay, we clear everything off the board. Okay. There is just one thing you need to know, and that is if you are trying to promote a pawn. And the bishop that you have is on the wrong color square. It's a light squared bishop, and it is here black to move. Apparently this is still winning, but you've got to do this the right way. If I move the king here, yeah, it's mate in 9. Why? Because eventually you'll be able to force the king out, because what you'll do is you'll set up there, you'll guard the pawn there, and you'll check the king when he's here. So there is a way to win this. This is the one that'll be trickiest. So king g6, and now you go here, and now, very important, king f6. And you might say, wait, how do you get the guy out the thing? Because, hang on, I set the pawn going down the wrong way. That's why. Set up position. Clear the board. We've got the black king in the corner. We've got the white king here, white pawn here, and white bishop here. You can see white to move, it's a draw. Black to move, it is a draw. So we'll set it to white to move. White is trying to promote the pawn, and it is incredibly difficult because no matter what you do, even if you check the king, you can't get the king out the corner. So it is very much the same vein as the king and pawn endgame that you will be accustomed to. This is only winning, if we queue up a new analysis, if the bishop that you are trying to use is the same color as the promotion square. So like we could have had, we have this bishop, and it is defending this pawn, the h-pawn. So this pawn, if the black king is here, you can check him out the corner. And this would be winning, obviously, for white. Now this is check, so obviously let's put the king here. Winning for white. Provides non-check, and even if I set it black to move, it's winning because the king can't barricade himself in the corner. So this is what you need to know. I do realize this is slightly inverted. The only other thing you will need to be aware of, let's say black is trying to promote a pawn, is when you have opposite colored bishops, you are able to set up this blockade like this. This is a draw. 100% a draw, simply because black can't push the pawn on the light square. And white will win this pawn, or it will never move, because you can just move the bishop around. The black king can't be forced to move, or sorry, the white king can't be forced to move, because the bishop can't give him a check at any point. And so it is easily a draw for the white pieces here. Alright, so those are some tips to know. I hope you found the video helpful, or maybe the last 24 minutes have been helpful. So I apologize if I maybe flipped the order around, but we did some drills to look at some bishop endgames. Some were winning, some were drawing, and playing them is incredibly difficult, but there are a few things that you can know to kind of change things about. Cheers.